Hey, Algebra 2 students. I'm making another video on adding and subtracting rationals, the part 2 of the 8-2 video. And so just a little review of dividing here. Remember, you always want to factor first. Okay, so always factor first. So that's what I started doing here. And then remember, it's keep, change, flip. So you're going to flip the second one. So that's going to be a plus 2 and a minus 2. And then down here, remember, if we take out a 12 here, and then we get a squared minus 1, we can factor that a squared minus 1. And so that's going to be 12a plus 1, and then a minus 1. And then notice here we have the a squared plus 2a plus 1. That can be factored as well. Here, I'll write this up here so it's a little bit cleaner. Right here. So let me get my eraser and erase this part to clean it up a little bit. So that's going to be a plus 1 and a plus 1. And then we're going to go ahead and now the fun part, we can cancel top to bottom. So it looks like we're going to cross this out, a plus 2, a plus 2, and it's just going to be 1 for 1 here. That's it with all the factors. And then we have 3 and 12 right here. So that becomes a 4 and this becomes a 1. So we end up with a plus 1 and then a minus 2 over a minus 5 and a minus 1. And I think that's it. So that's a little review of dividing. Okay, now let's get into adding and subtracting. So go ahead and pause the video and write this down. I'm going to do the same. And remember, you need to factor first. So as you can see, I started factoring here. And here I did the T method. And so it looks like I'm going to get 4x minus 2 and then x minus 3 here. Because they're cross products, have to add up to a negative 14. So with this, you need to find a least common denominator or common denominator. So it looks like we have x minus 3 is definitely going to be one of them. A 4x minus 2. We just make sure all the factors are included, and then it looks like we need to have a 6 as well. So with this, what do we need? What's missing from our common denominator on this side right here? Right, the 4x minus 2. So that's what we need to do. We need to do 4x minus 2, and then the 4x minus 2 on bottom right here. So it looks like that's going to be what's missing over here. And then what's missing on this side? Right, the 6 is missing as well. So that's going to be 6 over 6. So here, now we can go ahead and put them together because they have the same denominators. Okay, so now it looks like we have 5 times 4x minus 2 minus 6 times x minus 1, because there's a minus sign here, so we got to bring that down. And that's going to be over our common denominator, which is, sorry, kid bopping in here. Okay, so we have our common denominator. Right here. So now let's go ahead and combine like terms on top, because now we can, because now it's one fraction. So it looks like this is going to be 20x minus 10 minus 6x plus 6. And let's go ahead and combine those like terms. So it looks like this is going to be 14x minus 4, because I put these together, the 20 minus the 6x. And then we have the negative 10 and the plus 6. And it looks like we can probably factor that, right? We can take out a 2 here. So if we take out a 2, then we get 7x minus 2. Now let's go ahead and put this over our denominator. So do you notice anything else that can be simplified? Yes, the 2 and the 6. So this is a 1 and a 3. So your final answer then is going to be 7x minus 2 over 3 times your 4x minus 2 times your x minus 3. Now I had some students say, well, Mrs. Davis, can't you take out this 4x minus 2 right now? Yeah, or take out a 2 right here. You sure can. So it could end up being 7x minus 2. That's what I'm talking about, take out a 2 there. So if we take out a 2 there, then it's going to be 6 times 2x minus 1 times x minus 3. And there we go. Okay, so yeah, either you simplify or factor out. Like I could have factored this 2 out in the beginning, at the very beginning, but either factor it out before or later. It doesn't matter, ends up the same thing. Okay, let's try another one here. Go ahead and factor first. Factor first. And then we'll get a least common denominator. Okay, so this is what I got when I factored. So now we need to find that common denominator, our LCD, least common denominator. And that would be 3, and it looks like we have a 4x plus 1 we need to put in there, and an x plus 5. Just make sure all the factors that you see in your denominators are here. Okay, we got the 3, check, got the 4x plus 1, check, and got the x plus 5. That's a plus 5. So now you got to think, okay, what's missing from this first fraction? What do I need to multiply by? Right, the 3. So we multiply by 3 over 3, so that's going to be 3 times x plus 8. And then over here, what are we multiplying by? What's missing? Right, the x plus 5. Okay, so that will be plus 6 times x plus 5. We can put these together now under one big fraction, or into one big fraction, because we have the common denominator. Okay, so now let's combine like terms. So it looks like we're going to have 3x plus 24 plus 6x plus 30. Go ahead and combine those like terms. Looks like we're going to have 3x and 6x. So that's going to be your 9x. And then your 24 and your 30, which is going to be plus 54 right here. And then from there, it looks like, yeah, you could take out that 9. So it looks like we'll get 9x plus 6. Now let's go ahead and put it over our denominator, now that we've simplified it all the way. And then we get 4x plus 1, and then x plus 5. So is this going to be our final answer, or do you see anything that we could simplify here? Right, the 9 and the 3 can be simplified to a 3 over 1. So our final answer is going to be 3 times x plus 6 over 4x plus 1 and x plus 5. And that will be our final answer, because we can't simplify any farther. There's no other common factors that we can cancel out top to bottom. All right, that's all I got for you. Hopefully that clears some things up with adding and subtracting rationals. And yeah, y'all have a good day. We'll see you later.